Hello and welcome to the first video in this course. In this chapter I'm going to show you how to create a few brushes that we'll use later on for our illustration. The first thing we need to do is create a new document. I'm going to call it Tutorial 01. I'll give it a width of 1920 pixels and a height of 1080. We'll give it a resolution of 72 pixels per inch. If you're planning to print your illustration, I recommend you give it a resolution of 300 pixels per inch, so your image doesn't come out pixelated. Also, we should use the CMYK color mode and not the RGB. However, as I'm recording, I'm going to keep my resolution at 72 and use the RGB color mode so I don't have any problems with the recording. When we create our new document, we get a white rectangle. This is our workspace, and it's where we're going to try out our brushes. I've got a set of paintbrushes here that I'll share with you, so you can download and use them too. But we're going to make a couple of brushes anyway, that we'll use in this illustration. As you can see, the brush I'm using here is square-shaped and very simple and practical, but it's not really what we're looking for. Let's create another document and call it Brush 01. And give it a resolution again of 72 ppi. We're going to use this document to create a brush. Now we have a square. We'll use this square as a base for the brush we're going to make. This step is really simple. All we have to think about is what we want the brush to do. Do we want it to have a stain or spotted effect, maybe various lines? What we're doing is seeing what type of brush is the best for our illustration. And once we've decided what pattern we want for our brush, we'll go to Edit, Define Brush Presets. This automatically creates a brush. Here we can change the name to whatever we like. I'm going to name it 01. Okay, now let's get back to our previous document. If we right-click, we'll see that we have a new brush in our panel, the one we just created. As you can see, it's a very simple brush and still not quite what we are looking for. So what we are going to do is press F5 and select an option what will help us to shape the brush into exactly what we want. So in this window we're going to expand the brush and we can test it out in our workspace. Let's adjust it to what we are looking for. Try out different options and see how the brush changes. So we'll just play around until we find the brush that best suits our illustration. I'm using a design tablet. It just makes it a lot easier. It's a very simple tablet, nothing out of this world and quite reasonably priced. So, as I said, we're just exploring the different options and seeing what works for us. You can see each option modifies the brush in different ways. Right now, I like how this brush here is looking, for example. Okay, I think this brush is the most suited to our design. It's got a nice texture, and it's going to help me to shape our illustration. I'm just trying out different amounts of pressure on the tablet to see what it looks like. Now, let's save it. Click on Save and we'll name it 01 Final. Then we'll return to our workspace, and as you see, our new brush has been added to our panel. Let's get rid of the first brush. So we'll delete the brush we don't need. Here we have our new brush, and what we're going to do now is create a second brush. And as you've seen, it's not very complicated, it's quite easy to do. Our second brush is for the grass, so our brush will be like a blade of grass. Okay, let's go back to our workspace. Let's delete what's there, and now we can create a grass brush. So the shape of a blade of grass is quite thin and long. So once we have our shape, we'll go to Edit, define Brush Presets. We'll give it a name, click OK, and return to our previous document. And pressing F5 again, let's change some options. Okay, I think this is more or less what we want. So, as you've seen, the process is quite simple. You don't only have to make 2 types of brush. You can practice making more if you like. Yeah, just experiment and find the shapes that work for your design. That's our first lesson finished. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.